In this Blender tutorial, I'll show you how I made a low poly cricket match animation in Blender. The first part of the tutorial series will involve modeling the low poly characters and rigging them. This tutorial was requested by the Harry Gaming. The keys I'm using are in the bottom right corner of the viewport. I'll be using an image that I found online. If you want a reference image, look for character T-pose. I'm just using this for the proportions. I drag and drop the image into the scene and make sure the feet are on the ground and it's centered along the Z-axis. Moving it back along the Y-axis. I need to start with a single vertex, so I add a plane and in edit mode I merge the vertices at the center. I add a mirror modifier so I can make a symmetrical character. Changing the merge to 0.1 to make it easier to merge the vertices in the center. I also add a skin modifier, which will give the vertices volume. Selecting smooth shading to smooth the vertices. I also add a subdivision surface modifier to smooth out the skin modifier. I've also turned on a matte cap to make it easier to see what I'm doing. Using Alt-Z, I go into X-ray mode. I'll move the vertex up along the Z-axis to the hip area and scale it down using Ctrl-A. I need to assign a root so I can make a symmetrical character. This can be done under the skin modifier. Now please note, if you're using the skin modifier and you have a disconnected part of the mesh, you need to assign a root to each of the pieces of the disconnected mesh. In vertex select mode, I'll now extrude along the x-axis to make the hip area and then extrude along the z-axis to make the legs. For the feet, I extrude the vertices along the y-axis and then scale the toe area to slightly flatten the front of the foot. I select the hip vertex so I can form the spine. I continue to make the shoulder and the arms. I then make the neck and the head. I select the top of the head and use Ctrl R to make a loop cut. I then use the new vertex to model the head. To make the head more spherical, I can use Ctrl-Shift-B to add a bevel, and then scale the vertices. Then move the jaw out along the Y-axis to give the head more definition. I select the spine and hip vertices and subdivide them. I scale all the vertices to give the character some bulk. I select the leg vertices and scale them. And I repeat this process for the arms. I also add a bevel in the center of the leg to define the knee area, and in the center of the arm to define the elbow area. For the hands, I will extrude the thumb and fingers, and scale them to the proper size. I select all 6 vertices of the fingers, right-click, and subdivide, making sure to change the number of cuts to 2 in the popover menu. I then add a single knuckle to the thumb. I also add a single subdivision to the foot. Before I can finish the rigging process, I need to apply the mirror modifier and apply all the transformations. I will make a duplicate for a backup. Using the Rigify add-on, I then add a basic human meta rig and scale the character to size. In edit mode, I'll adjust the bones so they're in their proper places and in a T-pose rather than an A pose. I select the armature and tab into edit mode. Under the Object Data Properties tab, in the Viewport Display panel, I activate In Front so I can easily see the bones. I can now easily move the bones into place. I then select the 3 bones, right-click, and use Symmetrize to place the left side bones. I then make sure the character is conforming to the rig. I select the bones and tab into edit mode. I extrude a finger from the palm bone, and using Alt-P, I separate the bone. This allows me to freely move the bone while still having it parented to the palm bone. I then move the bone to the first finger and subdivide it. I can then move the bones into place according to the model. I then duplicate the bones and put them into place on the other fingers and thumb. I then select all of the new bones, right-click, and choose Symmetrize. In object mode, I apply the modifiers and then apply all the transforms. I select the meta rig and apply all the transforms. I then select the character, then the meta rig, and using Ctrl P, I parent the character and the rig using automatic weights. Now I can go into pose mode and make sure the rig is working. I then duplicate the collection for the batter character. For the bowler, I add a baseball cap. I hide the meta rig, select the bowler character, and tab into edit mode. I select the proper faces of the character and extrude them along their normals using Alt-E. I then extrude out the bill of the cap. Since I extruded the geometry, the cap will move with the head. I select the batter and tab into edit mode. I'll also add a cap, face shield and some leg pads to this character. I'll also model a ball for the bowler and a bat for the batter. And add some materials. If you have a request for a tutorial, a question, or a comment, feel free to leave a comment below the video. If you're interested in learning more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.